Hello, my friends, and welcome to another stream of Adobe Live. I'm your host, Kieran Lewis, a designer from London, and today I have the privilege of hosting the wonderful Whitney from Adobe. Hi, Whitney, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, I'm good. I remember our streams were 2 years ago, so I'm excited to have another
Recording in
one.
Yeah,
progress.
yeah,
It's
I'm
going to be
so
awesome.
overjoyed that you are hosting me today. I'm excited to design with you again.
I'm excited too. I know we're in for a real treat. I can see our friends coming in the chat as always. Hi to Wade, Jack, Robert. As always, my friends, send some love in the chat. We'd love to see it. And just a little admin before we get into the flow of it. Remember, this is Design Tuesdays on Adobe Live. So every time we always cover a graphic design topic. And today I'll be working on a bit of Illustrator. So you're in a good place for all things Illustrator design. And final note, today as well, don't forget to subscribe to at Adobe Live on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, and you can catch up all the cool things happening in our world. So, Whitney, this is your time to shine, my dear. Would you like to introduce yourself to our lovely
Yes.
audience?
Oh my gosh. So I am Whitney. I'm the girl behind WK Creative. I equip female entrepreneurs with a visually stunning brand identity that elevates their story and aligns with their people. I love
Nice.
all things feminine, modern, and chic.
Nice. I know your style on your website. Obviously, I've been seeing your websites and following Insta. Like your style is very distinctive, which is really cool. So like, I'm
Yeah,
excited to
thank
see how you
you.
explore with color and type today. So yeah, when
Thank
you're in a good
you.
place, should we jump into your program?
Yes. Okay. So today, we're going to be creating an intentional, heart-led packaging experience for a self-love lifestyle shop. We'll be designing a candle box and some packaging tape. So, all the pretty little things.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can
Um,
see in our chat we've got a few folks. I think they watched our previous stream, Whitney,
oh,
about 2 years
okay.
ago. So we've got a few folks who said we've got Christine who said Whitney and Kieran round two. Love it.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah,
Yes,
we've got a few
round
folks from
two.
afar. Let's go for it. Bring it on. I'm looking forward to it. And remember, my friends,
Yes.
get those questions you got for Whitney, anything to do with her design
Yes.
process,
Send your
any questions,
questions.
tips,
Yeah.
send them in. We want to see them, my friends. So yeah, let's get cracking.
Yeah, so okay, so when it comes to your packaging, you want to think of it as a way to establish the kind of impression you wish to create for your customers and their experience. So, you know, do you wish to inspire? Do you wish, to educate? Do you wish to create like a certain mood? Your
Mm,
packaging experience is really like the perfect opportunity to show off your brand's personality and to really connect with your customers on like a whole different level, while also, creating a memorable experience that resonates with them. I like to say that it's all about creating like the special moments with like your customer.
mm,
You want to make them feel special, right? You want them to feel like they were thought of during the design process. So I think it's very, very important to kind of consider all of those components,
mm,
when designing your packaging. You want to, like I said, you want to create that memorable experience that goes beyond the screen. Like you want to,
mm.
push past the digital realm. So just kind of considering
Nice.
all of those things is, I feel like, makes a successful packaging experience.
Nice. And I remember as well before we got in, and I'm sure we'll go into the real flow of it, but before we came on the stream, you were saying about how this is quite new in terms of what you do now as well, how when we had our first stream 2 years ago to what you're doing now. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
organically grown, right? Which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've always did like packaging design, obviously for
Mm.
like my branding clients. So like after we would do their branding, we would go move into like the packaging phase for their products, and then of course moving into website design. But since
Nice.
launching like Love Wit, which is, what we're going to be designing today,
Mm.
it's really cool to see like the difference between like having a product-based business and like a service-based business. So it's just like a nice little change of pace, a nice little
Mm.
breather. And it's been nice to kind of create for myself, like outside of client work. So it's been
That's nice.
definitely, yeah, so it's been definitely nice to kind of boost that creativity on a different
Yeah.
level.
I'm excited to get cracking. Awesome.
Yeah. So by the end of our live, this is kind of like how the box will look like. So this being the exterior and then this being
Mm.
the interior. And then I have it, right here too. So you can kind of see like what it would look like,
Nice.
translated.
Tangible. I like
Yes,
that.
and it's really, really pretty with like the checkerboard on the inside. And then
Nice.
the packaging tape, this is kind of like what it would look like, once it's all done.
Mm.
And, it'll look like this, when you have it printed.
Nice.
And then just some things to consider with adding your design into a die line.
Mm,
Some little rules. Of course, you want to make sure like your font size is like larger or 8 points or larger.
mm,
Typically for anything smaller, like maybe a candle label, you can probably get away with like a 6 point font size, but a good rule of thumb is like 8 points or larger for any of like the
mm,
packaging. And then of course, like any lines that you create, the stroke weight of the lines, like you want to make sure that it's like no less than like 0.5. And then
mm.
of course, you know, if you've worked with like Illustrator or any Adobe products and understand the difference between like the color codes of like RGB and like CMYK.
Yeah.
CMYK is for printing. So of course you want to make sure that the document is within like a CMYK format. If it's not, I mean, you can
Mm,
always check up right here. And then you can easily just go to file and then, you know, change it here as well. But
nice.
just some best results. And then if like all the artwork, it needs to be vectorized so that way you are able to scale it without it losing
Mm,
its resolution. And then any images that you use, of course, you want to make sure that it's no less than like 300 DPI, which is like the dots per inch. And then once you're done like typing and you know
mm.
creating like the text, you want to make sure that those fonts are outlined, which I'll show
So
you.
important.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
just you know click on the text, go to type, and then create outlines. But obviously, this is already outlined.
I'm glad
But
that you mentioned those like little
yeah,
tips because it's so easy to, there's a lot
yeah,
of things to consider, right? When you go into it. And obviously you're
yeah,
professional, so you know the space. But for anyone who's maybe watching for the first time and
yeah.
understanding how this works, I guess it's once you know those parameters to working, it makes everything a bit more streamlined and more easy to flow, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know like
Mm,
when, because I'm like self-taught. So I know like when I first started out, like I personally didn't even know this. It was something that I learned just
mm.
working with like packaging companies. Even though I have a degree in graphic design, it's like they don't actually teach you that stuff in school. Like it's almost like you
Yeah.
kind of like teach it yourself or and kind of learn
Mm,
as but so just working with like packaging companies like over the however long I've been designing, those are some things that like I've been taught from them. And yeah, so it's been cool
nice.
to kind of implement that into my process.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then I felt like I was going to say something, but I totally forgot. But maybe it'll come to me later.
Cool.
But yeah, so we're just gonna dive in. Oh, and I was gonna say, like, when you do like outline the fonts, it kind of creates it, or essentially you're vectorizing the fonts. So basically, they'll be able to
Mm,
be scalable and without losing its resolution too. So that's really
mm,
kind of, you know, the good rule to live by when, you know, designing.
nice.
Yeah, so we are just gonna dive in. So I have all of my branding assets here just for easy access.
Mm.
And then so I got my exterior assets and then I got my interior assets here. So we are just going to dive in.
I'm always intrigued when I see different folks that we have on here and we see how different creators have the basically the art balls all lined up, whether it's in a way where you have it on the gray, or whether you have it on the white, or you customize it. Everyone's each to their own, right? Which is cool.
Yeah, I'm
So
never
jumping
really
into a new car.
disorganized in real life. Yeah.
No
This is
judgment. You're in a
this is
safe
for the
space. Don't
live.
worry. It's strictly
Usually
for the
like
live.
no, it's literally like I'll have like especially when I'm like designing like a brand identity, like I got logos everywhere, like it's just
Hmm,
different elements it's everywhere. Yeah, but
I love that.
this is just for y'all to kind of see.
You spruced up your desktop and your background, your computer,
Yes.
because you knew
Yes.
it was
I made it
time.
look pretty.
Nice. See that, my friends? Watch you tune in. You're in for a treat.
Yeah, don't let social media bully you into thinking that you have to have it all figured out and super organized. Like, no, like you should see like a branding document in
The
Illustrator.
real
Like,
McCoy.
yeah, it's crazy. It looks like chicken pox. Like, it's crazy. It's just like
I
the
love that
way
terminology.
it's kind of like that description when you have like many, like your brain has many tabs open. Like, that's how like my Illustrator files typically look.
Nice.
So
Nice.
basically, for this die line, you want to kind of you want to use your layers. So you have like your layer where the actual die line is located, and then you have your design layer where you're going to place all of your artwork. So you just want to make sure that particular layer is selected, and then we're
Mm.
just going to put all of these pretty elements in here. And then for the
Whilst
can,
you're, oh, no,
oh,
no,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
go for it. To interrupt you.
I was
No, no,
gonna
go for
say
it, please.
I was gonna say for the candle box, so this is the back of the box. This is gonna be the side of the box, front of the
Mm.
box, side of the box. And then the top flap, when we're putting the design in, we're going to basically we're gonna place the design upside down. So basically when they go to print it, just to kind of show you, um, the top flap, it's like upside, it's like the right way. So it's like says self-care
Nice.
starts here, but like when you're like placing in the die line, you place it upside down just to kind of give you a visual of like what it would look like.
Getting like kind of Inception vibes where you have to imagine it what it's like flipped,
Yeah.
right? And then you
Yeah.
have to kind of
Yeah.
work upside
Printing is
down.
always a
Yeah.
process. And if you don't like have a printer at home, like it's a process.
Mm,
But yeah, it's always a process. So you can be as seamless as you can during like this like stage of a project, but it's always like
mm,
each print company is so different. So it's like always going to be a process to make sure that everything is like translating beautifully. But the die lines are
sure.
really like make it so much easier to make sure that it's like printing perfectly.
Nice. I've got a
Yeah.
few questions on that, but actually I can
Yeah.
see the chat has already got questions, and I wouldn't be a good host if I didn't ask those first. I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
whilst you're in the flow of it, when you're in a good place, of course. I will ask you a question. Let me know when you're in a good place, and
Yeah. You can go ahead
yeah,
and ask me.
cool. So we've got a question from Christine who said, Whitney, you have such a distinct sense of style from your fashion design style. How do you discover your style in such authentic way?
Ooh, oh my gosh.
Great question, Christine. Thank you.
Ooh, can you repeat that?
Of course, yeah. So basically, we've got Christine who's absolutely loving your design style. She's asking, from your fashion to design style, how do you discover your style in such an authentic way?
I think it's just I just love it's like I think you just kind of it goes back to kind of like knowing who you are
Hmm,
and like knowing like what things that you're attracted to and just like really like honoring that. I think I've always been
hmm,
really good at like knowing what I like and what I don't like. Because even like when I buy stuff, I'm like, because I just want to try it, like I end up not like liking it. I'm like, see, this is why I just stick to what I like. Is I think it's like goes back to like the same thing with like design too. I mean, of course I can
hmm,
design like obviously I obviously have a certain style, but I don't just design that particular style. I'm able to design, based on like my client's target audience and things like that. But I
hmm,
think just like knowing who you are and being true to that,
hmm.
people see that, and then that kind of draws and attracts like your dream clients. I don't even know if that's even like the right answer to that question, but I
No, I
think
get
just like
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like trying to like think of like a better answer, but I think just being true to who you are and like really knowing like what you like and what you don't like, I think that
Hmm,
really like I feel like it helps with like designing as well too. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like
hmm.
I'm not answering that correctly.
No, I get that. I mean, that's perhaps
Yeah.
the beauty of because you're so obviously you're amazing at what you do, and your style is just echoing what Christine said. It is very distinctive. So perhaps because you're in it for so many years that you sometimes forget that the not
Yeah.
forget, but obviously you've overlooked time has gone by. But I think that's quite an interesting question because even it'd be great to know, Christine, if you're designing yourself, what's your style? And again, anyone in the chat, let us know your style. You're trying to find your style, let us know. But it is a tricky one, isn't it? Because like you said, Whitney,
Yeah.
it's something that feels something that's personal to you, right? And it could take time. It could take,
Oh yeah, it takes
a few
years to
years.
develop your
Yeah.
style because it's like when you first start out, like you may have like a tendency to mimic other designers because like you're inspired
Mm,
by, their true identity or their true style. So it's like you want to mimic what they do, like
mm,
unintentionally. So it takes time to like really develop like your style. And again, it just goes back to kind of like what you like and what you're good at and like yeah, just like kind of like what your style. It's like good to just explore like different styles and
definitely. I mean,
yeah,
it's healthy to mix it up, right? And
yeah,
again, I'd be a terrible host if I didn't obviously plug this is why we do Adobe Live, because again, it's the idea of, if you are very new to watching these streams, we bring in creators from all around the world that, you get to see firsthand their design experience. You get to talk to them about their process. But again, you get to see how they operate in these programs. And each single designer is all very different. And that's the beauty of it, right? There's no one set way of doing something. So yeah, on that basis of that, is there again any questions that you have about Whitney's design process, her background? Get those questions in, please, my friends.
yeah. And feel free to DM me that same question. I'll be more than happy to answer it in a better
Slide
way
into
because I feel
Whitney's
like I cannot
DMs.
answer that very correctly, but or very like I feel like I didn't answer that like
To be fair, you're doing the
yeah.
job of multitasking. You're
Yeah, I feel
designing,
like
and it's a job in itself. You're
I
doing
think my
awesome, don't
squiggly
worry.
brain is like huh? Like, I don't know, my ADHD brain.
No, you're doing great. And I can see we got everyone in the chat as actually all, all very positive energy. And Christine's actually coming back by saying, yeah, great answer, Whitney. It can be so hard to stay true to what's authentic to you with all the
Yeah.
trends that are out there. I admire creatives who are dedicated to their style. So that's kind of
Thank
echoing what we
you.
spoke about. So good
Yeah.
shout, Christine, and lovely
Thank you.
comment.
And I was thinking too,
Yeah.
also like, I lost my train of thought. Oh my God, it's going to come back to me. But I was going to say, I think that like kind of goes back to, yeah, just being something that you're not, like it's just not going to feel right to you when you're designing it because you're not being true to who you are.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, that's not what really came to my mind. It's going to come to me. I just feel
It'll
like
come to you in the flow of it. Don't worry.
I'm
You'll
like
go
most
to bed
squiggly
tonight and be
brain.
like, oh yeah, that was it. That was what I was
Yeah, I'm
discussing.
like, dang it. But feel free to DM me, Christine. I'll be more than happy to elaborate more. And once I'm like, can actually zone
Nice.
in on the question. But
Uh,
okay,
well,
so
we'll leave it to zoning now, and you get into the process. So, enough
yes.
questions.
So the exterior is done. Of course, you know, like you're going to want to make sure everything is aligned, correctly. But for stream purposes, we're just going to pretend everything is centered. But a good way
Cool.
of doing it is maybe like creating some like lines or something to kind of draw, to make like us like the center, whatever. So you're basically just making like guides to make sure everything is like centered. But for this stream, we'll just pretend that everything is centered. But of course, you want to make sure that everything is lined up, beautifully and
Mm.
everything looks proportionate. And then for it,
Just on that, do you find that you have to do a bit of a try and error where you might test prints and you mentioned at the very
yeah,
beginning about the
yeah,
fonts. Do you have to do a bit of testing?
yeah, because sometimes like even though this looks good and looks like it's large enough, um,
Mm.
and then it looks like that, let me see, I gotta move my little window over to the side. It looks like it's 11 points. So it is like falling within like that rule of making sure that your font size is 8 points. Sometimes this may not be big enough yet. Like sometimes it is good to maybe test out like a sample if you have a printer at home, printing
Mm.
this out and like cutting it out and kind of putting it together just to kind of see how it's looking. Prior to sending it off to the printer. But I will say a lot of print companies do offer samples that you can print and test out if you don't have a printer at home. Like I said, it goes back to it's like printing is a process. So don't expect that your packaging is going to be a one and done. I mean, there are
Mm.
obviously tools and process that you can make to make your packaging process a lot more efficient and seamless, but it's still a process because things like look so differently from digital to print. So yeah,
So
it is
true. So
definitely
true.
a process. I'm always
No,
telling my
I
clients,
can
I'm like,
echo
it's a
that.
process, but
I can
I'm here with
definitely
you.
echo that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no. It'd be great to know. Is anyone in the chat? Has anyone that are in the space of packaging or in that space of working with print? It'd be great to hear maybe your experiences, or if you're quite new and you want to learn into this process packaging world of Whitney's, let us know in the chat. We love to kind of hear people's experiences. So let us know whilst Whitney's in the flow of it.
Yeah. And then for this, like I've already created this swatch, but basically to create like this like seamless checkerboard pattern, I'm just going to quickly show you how to do it. So
Cool.
basically, I already grouped these together, but you'll make like, the four squares, like group them, and then you'll go to object, pattern, and then make. And then basically, it'll automatically be added to like the swatches panel. And then I'll just go over here and kind of show you what it would look like so.
Like a design ninja, Whitney. I like it. Just flying through. Be
Yeah.
a professional.
And then I'm just going to go in and add the other little assets. Again, you're just going to make sure that everything is like centered. You can create those like little guides, but just for the stream, we're going to pretend it's centered.
Nice. We'll use our imagination.
Yes, yes.
We're in a good place to be creative, that's for sure.
Yeah. So for this particular candle box, so it is like a self-love candle. So with this candle, um, I provide them with like an affirmation card for them to write like a love note to themselves. So
Mm.
some of the verbiage that we have on the box, it says, write yourself a love note on the card below, set it in your home or office to elevate your mood every day. Let the self-care commence. You deserve this. And then with Love Wit. So Love Wit is obviously rooted in the idea of gifting yourself, hence the name Love, comma Wit. So really,
Nice.
when designing your packaging, you want to kind of consider all of those little elements that could tie in with your brand messaging, who you're trying to speak to and all the emotions you want to convey, all of the good stuff. And then of
Nice.
course you want to like add a little like call to action, like tag them on social media to show us how you live pretty. Yeah, just super cutesy brand messaging, anything that
Mm.
aligns with your branding.
That's a
And
very
then,
important. I'm glad you mentioned that because I was gonna say like sometimes people forget how important the art of
yeah,
content, right? And text is so important when it comes to design. It's not just the physicality of it; it's actually how people respond and interact with the context, which is
yeah,
interesting. You said,
yeah.
yeah.
It goes a lot. And I think like having like if there's room, having like a quick blurb about the brand, or about
Mm,
the founder or like the mission. I think that's really, really important, a good component to have in your packaging experience. And then like for candles, it's always good to kind of note like what the ingredients are in the candle. I mean, I know for like products
nice.
like skincare and beauty, obviously it's required. FDA is you're required to put that. But
Mm,
with candles, it's like not as strict. So, but I always still like to
no,
include it, with like the gluten, toxic, paraben, and phthalate free, and it comes from renewable sources. And then kind of like what the
nice.
candle is. These are like hand poured self love candles, and then just like another little hand poured with love in Florida. I'm adding in like that with love component to kind of tie back to the
Mm.
name love, comma wit. So yeah, just kind of considering all of those little special, meaningful components really makes your packaging experience that much more meaningful to your consumers.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've
And
got to ask,
then
off-piece design. Do you have any? Do you have like an obscene amount of candles at home? Bringing
um
it back to design shortly.
I
Just on the
do. I'm like
typically love
looking at
it.
my bookshelf or like my little shelf of like candles. I have a lot of empty candle vessels because I kind of make them to
Okay.
order. So basically, when someone orders, I then hand pour them. But I'm
Mm,
trying to get to the place where like they're already pre-done because it can be a
fair.
little time
Okay.
consuming me in the kitchen trying to make a candle. But yeah, I do have a lot of candle vessels sitting over there.
Nice, nice. So
Yeah.
back into design.
Yeah. So, and then once you get done with everything is looking good. I would recommend saving a working file, like an editable file, and then saving one where you're able to outline the font, like a final file. So basically, you'll just go in and make sure all of these are outlined. So you'll just go to type and then create outlines. And then if you have any strokes, just making sure that the strokes are outlined as well. Or yeah, you just go to object path and then outline stroke. So yeah, just making it as super easy and efficient for the printing company as possible.
Mm,
And then I won't go ahead and outline them now, but basically that's what you would do. But yeah, I would recommend saving a working file. So if you do need to go in and make some changes based off of the printing company's requests, you'll be able to easily
nice,
do so. And then having that final file as well. But
nice.
yeah, so that is the candle box. So when you get done, it'll look like this. Super
Hey,
cute. Yeah.
what's that feeling like when you? I mean, it's obviously. I mean, I work in print as well, but I know. Well, from my
Yeah.
perspective, it's an awesome feeling when you finally design something and you see it in flesh. Like, do you get kind of giddy when
Yeah.
it's like in the post and comes?
You do. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just so pretty. It's just so cute. It's just like, yeah, it's something so rewarding to see something that you like designed and seeing it like be like a tangible item is it's such a rewarding feeling.
nice.
Yeah.
We've got a lovely comment from Alejandro who said, "Unfolded, it looks so nice. I can already imagine when the sketch is physically assembled." And there we go. I mean, we can see it physically. You
Yeah.
just shown us on the camera,
Yeah.
so it's great on screen and in person. So
Yeah.
double
So
whammy.
it looks flat here and then it transform into like a 3D thing.
Love that.
Yeah. So yeah, so that is the candle box. And then we'll move on to the packaging tape.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, so it's pretty much like the same like kind of drill with the packaging tape, far as like making sure that the print is perfect before you send it off to the print company.
Mm,
So again, this is like the bleed line for like the die line. And then like this little like dotted areas, like the trim area. So you just want to make sure that nothing gets cut off. It kind of helps you see like what's going to get cut off and what doesn't.
Mm.
And then for like this particular packaging tape, if you do have like a continuous pattern, like the end and the start design should connect seamlessly to one another. But in this case,
Mm.
it's not really necessary since everything's kind of staggered. And then again, the thickness of the line, strokes, things like that, should be less than no more than no less than 0.2
Okay.
millimeters. Yeah. And then for the best results, your design should be in vector format again, just because you want to make sure that it's scalable without losing its resolution. And then, you want to
Mm.
use CMYK color codes. A lot of companies use Pantone as well. So if
Yeah.
that is the case, you're actually able to basically convert the colors to Pantone as well. Like, let me see if
Mm.
it'll show. I'm like, I hardly do it, so I'm like trying to think of like
Do you have like a
where
Pantone
do
book
I
as well? I'm
go? Like,
always
where do I go?
curious. Like,
Yeah, it's like so
I don't know.
I can't think off the top of my head because I hardly do it. But basically, you're able
Is it
to
in
kind of
window?
edit the color. Yeah, is it? Is it
Possibly in
do?
window color, maybe. I mean, I'm more of an InDesign man, but I do appreciate it. In perhaps
Yeah,
in
I'm like
window,
trying to
I could be
think.
wrong.
I know there's like one that says like edit colors, and then you're able to go and then you can change it to like the Pantone. But
Mm.
I haven't done it in so long. Like I literally am drawing a blank. But if you ever needed to convert it, you'll be able to do that and
Nice,
edit the change the color code. But yeah,
nice.
so basically at the end, it'll look like this, or like this.
Hey, I love the
Yeah.
physics. I love like it's like a here's what I made earlier.
I
Just
know.
like
Yeah.
boom from a
It's like
screen to you're
before
getting
and
treated, my
after.
friends.
Yeah.
I love that. And we've got some great questions actually, and I've been waiting to strategically put them in a good place because they're all coming in
Yeah.
thick and fast. We've got folks on YouTube saying absolutely stunning, loving it, and we've got a question saying what kind of paper do you tend to use? So perhaps the stock, if you talk for us through, maybe
Yeah, so
what do
for
you?
the box, I use it really just depends on your preference. I use like a matte craft box. So it
Hmm.
has like it's matte with like a gloss cover. So I don't know if you can kind of see like the glossiness of it. So this is like a car, it's like a technically called a craft box, but it's like a matte with a gloss like cover, if that makes sense. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
just
get that.
really depends on like the particular print company that you're using. They have like different options that you could choose from. And also it just
Mm,
depends on like what kind of how luxury you want to go or things like that. Also like cost effective, like cost wise too, it can get kind of costly. So depending on your budget
sure.
too. And then
Of
for
course.
the packaging tape, this is actually a water activated packaging tape. So like I have to put it in water for it to activate and then I stick it on
That's
the box.
cool.
So, but I don't know
Okay.
exactly the particular card or like the typical paper stock. I don't know what the actual paper stock is, but I just know
Sure.
it's like water activated for the packaging tape. So it doesn't get sticky until like you put water on it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a whole different realm when it comes to working
Yeah.
with stock. I've got a question for you as well, like whilst you're in the flow of it. Do you find that obviously now you're doing a lot more work in the print sector and you're experimenting and producing products. Have you got like a set of printers that you tend to go with? Because I know sometimes having that good working relationship with your go-to printer is super useful in case I don't know things
Yeah.
slip through the cracks and then you realize and then they might flag it because you've got that nice working relationship. Do you have like a sort of
Yeah.
go-to set or do you have like maybe a few that you kind of work with depending on the
Yeah,
job?
it just really depends on my client's budget. I usually have like a handful of print companies that I like, but I also tell them to check with their local print companies too, because especially if you want something super custom,
Mm,
oftentimes a lot of the local print companies are able to work with you and design something custom that a lot of the print companies that you have like online aren't able to
mm,
offer you. So I do tell my clients to check with their local print companies
nice.
to see if they're able to do something custom. And then they'll usually be able to provide like that custom template to provide to the designer, like the die line to put in the design into. But yeah, I like Pack Lane a lot. Pack M, No Issue, a lot. Those are like probably like my top three favorite. Only because
Yeah.
it's like you're able to like buy a sample and they also like work with you. They not are just
Nice.
like, okay, like they send you a like a 3D model of what it would look like. It's just like they work with you. It's like a very
Mm,
collaborative like approach to it.
that's cool.
Versus like you just like uploading your design and then like you just ordered like 500 units
Into
and
the
it's wrong.
abyss. You have
Yeah,
no
and it's
idea what's going
wrong.
on.
Yeah, yeah. So they are very
Yeah.
collaborative with their process. So I do appreciate
Nice.
that. And then,
Nice.
but
Yeah.
yeah, so we're just gonna dive in here. So basically, this is what it's gonna look like. Like I said, I already have my little design access here. And then again, we're just gonna make sure that we are placing the design on the design layer. So, I mean, I guess for the background, I could technically put it over here, but I'm just gonna do it to the trim line.
Nice. And it's a good time to kind of mention about half an hour into the stream. So if you have just tuned in, massive welcome. If you're on YouTube or Behance, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we have the very wonderful graphic designer, Whitney Kerney. And today she is taking us through her world of print and packaging via Illustrator. And we're looking to design a cool customized candle box and a few other bits and bobs as well. So if you have tuned in, like I said, massive welcome. Any questions related to Whitney about her design process, background, tips, tricks, things you want to see, let us know in the YouTube or Behance chat, and I will do my best to get that straight to her. So welcome. It's crazy, Whitney. Whilst you're designing this, I know we spoke about this before we came live on the stream, but because again we've worked together from 2 years ago until now, it's nice to sort of see the work you're doing now, like how it's changed as well. And like your color palette's still the same. Like I love that. It
Yeah.
hasn't changed. Your distinctiveness, like we had in the first question, has remained the same, but like your process is evolved, which is really cool to see just from the outside
Yeah.
looking in.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
cool.
you. All
You've
right.
been busy for 2 years.
Thank you. Yes, I know. So I typically, obviously, going back to that question about like how do you get your like unique style and things like that.
Mm,
It's like once you develop your style, you again, you attract your that dream client.
mm,
So oftentimes a lot of my clients, they are, looking for something more feminine. They are looking something for a little bit more modern or chic. So a lot of the times I do play with like the same colors, but I don't no one color palette is the same. So it's really fun to kind of, dive into the different colors for each project. And I don't just
mm.
design with pink. It just so happens that a lot of my clients want pink in their palette.
No
And then
judgment if you do.
yeah, but I do play with a lot of color. And it also just really
Okay.
goes down to the psychology behind the color. So I always like challenge my customers to think outside the box and try to avoid personal preferences. Because again, you want to make sure that your colors are conveying what you want your branding to convey, and you want it to
Mm,
attract your target audience and not just like, you. So a lot of
mm.
color psychology goes into it. And
It's a good
yeah,
shout. Yeah.
yeah.
I
I
love
got
your design. So I say I love your design pun. Thinking outside the box was I don't know if that was intentional, but that was a lovely design pun there. You just threw at us. If anyone else
thank
picked up on
you.
that geekiness, but
Um, yeah, so and I've designed clients or I've designed brandings that have like black as their main color, like black and pink. I've designed brandings that have like no pink at all. So it just really, depends on the client and what their overall goals are and what they're trying to convey, all of that good stuff.
nice. We've got some great comments on the chat. I've got a comment from Emily Poulin. How you doing, Emily? It said, Whitney, your work is gorgeous.
Thank
Just took a look at your Instagram. Nice. I know that our lovely moderators have put your Instagram and websites and all handles in the chat.
you.
So definitely have a look at that, of course, after the stream. And then we've got a lovely comment from Alejandro, who is putting forward his experiences, who said, I'm currently designing a monochromatic repetition in a packaging for baby clothes. There we go. Interesting.
Oh,
Since there is not much budget, but you can achieve something really cool. Great job, Whitney.
thank
Nice.
you.
Baby clothes. That's in my realm, isn't it? But there we go.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
your 8-month-year-old. 8 months. That's
There
not
we
even a
go.
year,
That was a
8 month-year-old.
little strategic
eight
little
month
punt,
old.
little 8 month, yeah, new dad. There we go. So looking at baby clothes. So I can actually relate to your comment, Alejandro. So it's a great comment. And again, that's a good chance to maybe say, again, experiences, comments, do get those in. Because we love to hear if you're working on any project, especially if it's something maybe in the realms of print or packaging. We like to hear about it. If you're just starting out or you've been doing it for many years, let us know. You're in a safe space to talk it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't designed any. I haven't worked with any clients for baby clothes, but that would be a really cool project.
Ah, but a collaboration between you and
I
Alejandro. You never,
know.
it's waiting to happen. There we go.
But yeah, so that is the packaging for the tape. And then once you like kind of add everything in here, I kind of already grouped them, but let me ungroup them. I kind of just like grab all of them and then just kind of go over here to the little align tool and just kind of make sure everything is aligned, like vertically aligned.
Nice.
That, everything is just like clean. And then I group them and then, make sure they're it's centered. And then, yeah, just everything is super centered and clean. And
Nice.
then, yeah, and then you go
Do you
again to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I was going to say, by all means, do you find that when you're working with clients and they, you're envisioning how things will look, do you do mock-ups at all, or is it more of the testing the actual print? Because it's weird, like obviously with some designers, they'll do a thing on a mock-up, but then actually in your case, you're actually making a package. So then maybe you might do a test package. How does it work when you've got a client
Yeah.
and they've got something? What's your process on that
Yeah,
front?
so if we're like in the packaging or collateral phase of our project, I typically do put the design inside of like a mock-up so that way they're able to kind of visualize what it could potentially look like in real life.
Mm,
I find that like, doing mock-ups really helps like that whole design process because it really helps the client visualize what their branding is going to look like, not only for their packaging, but what their branding will look like as well. So it's nice to, even during the branding phase, I put like their branding and like certain mock-ups, like maybe like a billboard or an advertisement, just so that way they can kind of visualize what their branding will look IRL. And
nice.
then I do the same thing during like the packaging and collateral phase, so that way they can kind of see. Because I mean, you could do obviously show them this and be like, okay, like this looks really cute, but you don't know the
Yeah,
potential yet. So it's always nice to
of
put
course.
the design in like a quick mock-up or something for them to just kind of get a feel for what
Mm.
that could look like.
Packaging for the packaging. I love it. There we go.
Yes. Yeah. And then
Nice.
again, once you get all done, you just want to make sure that, everything is outlined and any strokes or things like that, lines are, outlined as well.
Mm,
But yeah, I was about to say, is
nice.
Illustrator freezing on me? But no, it's doing good.
Very good. In a good
Yeah.
place. Do you ever find like some of the, and this is not a curveball, but like, do you sometimes, obviously now we have the beauty of AI and a bit of Adobe now. Do you ever use some of the new tools or tips and tricks in your working space now? Or do you have like obviously we can see your design method and process. Have you dabbled in any of the stuff coming
Yeah,
out
so I
recently
really
or?
like
Yeah.
Adobe Firefly because like obviously, as designers, we do come up with color palettes obviously on our own based on the
Mm,
again the color psychology and the emotions of that our clients want to convey and things like that. But it's really cool, especially like as a designer, because we do get creative blocks. So
of
it's really
course we
cool to
do.
kind of, yeah, so it's really cool to use Adobe Firefly to kind of maybe put the design in and kind of describe like a certain color. Maybe we're just not really
Mm,
seeing the particular hue that we want or the particular saturation that we want or something, or we're just having a hard
mm,
time really coming up with like the colors. So I think using Adobe Firefly is a great tool to just kind of boost that creativity and just kind of get like inspiration. But
mm,
it's also a great tool for people that are designing their own packaging and maybe they only hired a designer for their branding and maybe they decided to DIY their packaging with the new branding assets that they had. I think Adobe Firefly would be a great tool
mm,
for them to use. So for example, if like maybe is a candle brand and they, their standard box is like a pink box, but maybe like they have like an upcoming launch for a beachy like candle or something that's like inspired by the beach. Maybe they want their candle
mm.
box to reflect that. So maybe they want to play with like a different color. So I think like Adobe Firefly would be a great resource for them to,
Yeah.
get some inspiration of like what that box could look like. But yeah, so I
Mm.
can show you an example.
Oh, yeah, of course. We
Yeah.
love to see examples on Adobe Live.
Yeah.
Show us, show us.
Let's do the candle box and then we'll do the die line.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, so you can either get to Adobe Firefly through, like the obviously the internet. But I can you can quickly do it through like the Creative Cloud. You can like open it up
Yeah.
here. So there's like different ways you can, go about doing it. So I'm just gonna go to the generative recolor and then I'm just gonna upload the SVG for the candle box. And
I love
then,
the
so
simplicity, right? It's so easy
I
how you're
know,
doing it. It's
so
great.
easy. Yeah. And I love how user-friendly Adobe is because I just feel like even if you're not a designer, you're easily able to use these
Mm,
tools and, generate beautiful packaging or beautiful, collateral items all on your own. So
mm,
let's see, let's do like a feminine, coastal, and beachy color palette that is inspired by Southern California. And I've noticed with like AI, like the more, specific you are, the better.
definitely.
Yeah. So let's see what it comes up with.
Let's see the nicheness of it all. I
Yeah.
love it. Let's bring it on. But it's also quite exciting. I don't know if you ever get this, and I'm gonna sound a bit geeky now, but like we're in a good place to geek out. But when you do your description and you press generate, it's like a kid at Christmas. You don't know what's gonna be inside that package. It's gonna be something
Yeah.
cool, but you just don't know what. And it's just like you're just waiting for the
Yeah.
unravelness
Yeah.
of it
So see
all.
some
There we go.
yeah, some different colors that you could do. Like I feel like this is very coastal. And then you can always like shuffle the colors to get like more inspiration. Like obviously this is like very beachy with that peach color.
Mm,
Yeah, and like I love this. I think that kind of represents like the sand of the beach very beautifully. Just gives like that nice, even like the pink can give off like that tropical coastal feel if you
mm.
wanted to kind of still touch with like that feminine touch to it. And then, yeah, I think it's
I'm
really
liking that
cute.
yellow as well. That yellow
I
one's
know,
quite
I really
interesting.
like that yellow too.
Yeah, I was digging
Yeah.
that.
Like this one's like really cute. And then of course, this is AI, so you're going to still have to tweak it slightly because just to make sure like the text has like a little bit more contrast. Like you want to make sure
Mm,
that the text still pops. So of course, like if I use this, I would try maybe make sure that, or maybe not this one, but this one, I would maybe make sure like this brown is a little darker so that way it has more contrast. But if you
mm,
really like this, like sage color, and maybe if you like the brown, I would just maybe recommend having like a darker brown so that way it kind of pops out a little bit more. But
mm.
I feel like this would just be a great tool for just to kind of boost inspiration. I
Yeah,
really
I'm
like
glad you
it.
mentioned that contrast because I don't
Yeah.
think we really touched on it really until now. But the idea of
Yeah.
legibility, right, with packaging and understanding that
Yeah.
folks have obviously different ways of how they view color, if they're colorblind or
Yeah.
accessibility for all. So that's also a super important factor, no, when it comes to the
Yeah,
packaging
like this,
and
obviously
legibility.
this is kind of blends in a little bit, kind of muted. So of course I would have something that has a little bit more saturation and contrast in the
Mm.
undertone. So that way it kind of pops out a little bit more. But these are fun. Oh, I love this palette. This is really pretty.
I was thinking that was a nice contrast, that sort of
Yeah.
yellow and is
Like
that
this is
green? Maybe it's my eyes
like I
being
even
weird. Is
like
that like a
this.
dark green?
It's like really pretty. Yeah.
Neon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It's just
Tron
funny how
vibe
it
there.
like it's funny how it recolored like the dye line as well. But it's really cool to see like the different ways you can go about doing it.
Yeah, it just makes life a lot easier, right, in terms of having like a nice
Yeah.
resource of like finding different color palettes.
Yeah. And I actually
Mm.
like kind of played around with it the other day. And these are kind of some that I like came up with
Ah,
too. Like I
okay.
love this. It's just so pretty. I love to see like how like bright and contrasty the text is. Like you're able to see it.
Mm.
It's a lot more legible. Like or even like this is like really, really nice. Like I love this like mint, like aqua
Yeah.
color. Yeah.
Do you
It's
ever like play around with like the idea of and again it all depends on pricing and budget with clients, but like the idea of embossing or doing any sort of physical elements to the text or the boxes. Like once you've done it to print and you think, is there anything that you like to kind of push out the boundary when it comes to, say for example, you have a budget, well no budget basically, you have like the world's your ocean basically, and you have a
yeah.
project. Is there any elements where you like to do a bit of embossing or anything that's like
Yes.
pushing
Oh
the
my gosh.
boundaries out
I
there?
love embossing. I love it like whether it be like, merchandise with like the embroidery, like if it's like product
Mm,
based, like where it's like a product box, I love embossing. I love gold foil. I think a gold foil on
mm,
the lettering is so luxury. I feel like
mm.
anything with like a gold foil lettering, like I'm gonna buy, even if I don't like ever use it. Like I just want the
I love that.
packaging.
That's a
It's just so
yeah.
pretty. Yeah. And I've been seeing a lot of like monochromatic feels with like packaging, and I love that look as well. And they have like kind of like that
Mm.
embossed feel where it's like the words are like kind of textured. I love that look as well. Yeah, so if you have like disposable income and you're able to invest like a lot in your
Make it
packaging,
rain.
I feel like that would be the route to go, especially if you want to have like a little bit more luxury appeal to your packaging, like embossing
Mm.
or a gold foil is so key. Yeah.
But
Or
even
even
like
like an
just to
etching.
echo
Yeah.
that. Oh. I was gonna say just to echo that as well. Like I mean, budget is always a factor of any client that you work with, especially with a
Yeah.
freelancer. But if there's a rationale as to why you're pushing the boundaries and suggesting these, then maybe that gives a bit more of a food for thought really for the client. So rather
Yeah.
than just because it looks cool, gold foiling, but maybe actually there's an element that makes it a little bit of a standout piece. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
pushing the boundaries out to make it
Yeah, and
look
it
for
gives
good.
you like a unique point of view. Yeah, it just gives you like, because it's like, I feel like in every industry is so saturated. So it's like your packaging really helps you stand out. So I think like,
Mm,
the more you think outside the box in that realm, like the better. And makes you have
mm.
like a more successful packaging experience for your customer.
Nice.
Yeah, I really, really like these. I'm like, of course, I love this pink because I'm a pink
I was gonna
girly,
say,
but
I didn't know. Did you? I didn't know you like pink actually. When you kept that secret and
I
for the whole
like this
stream.
one. This one's nice. I do like this a lot. But yeah, just to
Remember as
kind of
well, if
compare
you want
it.
to do like a
Yeah.
poll, we can always do a poll as well whenever you're in a good place. If you want to do a poll, of
Yeah.
course, like no pressure,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Let's do a poll and see like what would you like to see next? Like what kind of color palette? Like whether it be like bold or
ah,
vibrant, or if you want it to be maybe moody or something. I don't know.
depends on
Well,
the
like,
mood. Yeah, I mean, we could always
yeah.
get like a few potentially on. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
throwing ideas, and you let me know if it's good or bad. But maybe get like a few on one page, and then they can compare, maybe just as an idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me do the
But yeah,
packaging tape too and see. Let's go back.
we'll do our best not to influence the chat when it comes to which your favorite. So hint, hint, select the pink one.
Like even like this color palette is really nice too. Just like this like muted like aqua and then like the brighter aqua and then like the bright pink. It's
Mm,
just so pretty. And then like the original one is actually kind of pretty with it too. So just kind of thinking that and also that's good to note too. Like if when you are just say if you are wanting to like redesign your box to cater to a specific product that you're launching, like a
mm,
good rule of thumb would be to like kind of make sure that it still aligns with your brand messaging and your branding, and make sure that it still kind of is or still complementary of your like original brand color. Like I feel like this
mm.
would be really, really pretty with like that peachy pink color of the original box. Like it's still like really
Nice.
pretty,
Yeah.
compared to one another. So
We've
let's
got
see.
Carol who said varnish is quite nice as well, depending obviously the materials, but varnish is also quite a nice
Yes, yes,
finish.
definitely. All right, let's
Good shout.
see. What kind of color palette do we want to generate?
Oh,
Um,
throw some again and in the chat. You can throw some ideas out there if you want to see. I mean, it depends on the mood of
let's
people, right? I always
yeah,
find
let's
like
see
when you think of
a
a color, is it
modern
morning? Is it night where you are? Who knows?
a modern boho color palette. Let's see.
We've got Wade in the chat. Just he's gearing ready for the poll. We're in a good place. Just like button, finger on the button, just waiting to click that poll. It's coming. It's coming. I'm sure. So yeah,
All
gear
right,
up
so
the
we got
excitement, my
a
friends.
modern boho color palette. So see, of course, like some of this stuff is not going to be like it's not going to pop out as much. So of course you want to make sure that the colors are, popping out, and that you're able to see it, like that legibility. So let's see, like see that one kind of shows a little bit more. Yeah.
Funny because that one's interesting, but then it was the back that doesn't
Yeah.
really show that well, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Like that one is good. Yeah, like some of these are nice. Yeah, like I even like that yellow.
That's cool. That works. There's
Yeah,
a nice
like this one's
contrast.
nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's so fun. I like that's why I really, really like Firefly because it's like even if like you just are trying to find like a color for like your client or just trying to get inspiration, like this could
Mm,
like, spark like an idea of something else.
of course.
Or like, oh, that color would be perfect for like this other project or something. I like that
Yeah.
it kind of helps you in every area.
And to be fair, you made a good. You just actually came to mind just now while we're talking that even when a client say gives you a
This
brief
is
and
really
they
pretty.
put like keywords in the brief, maybe that could be parts of the description as well when you're actually looking at color palettes based on what the client
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
looking at. That
Because like
yeah.
with every client, they fill out a branding questionnaire. So, they're letting me know like, what emotions that they want to convey, what colors they are drawn to and what colors that they just refuse to use. They want to, so it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, just kind of taking those keywords and like, you know, placing it here. And I feel like that will be helpful. Yeah. But yeah, these are
When you said
fun.
the colors refuse, I can imagine like you had like your favorite client Whitney, approach you and they say to you, Whitney, we want you to do a lovely project. We have endless budget, but we don't want any pink, I'm afraid, in anything. Are you still
It'd
okay
be
to
fine. It'd be fine. Yeah,
It'd
I've
be
designed
okay?
tons of projects without
I'm
pink.
joking. I'm playing. I'm playing. It's
Yeah.
like me and green, to be fair. I love hence the green jacket. But yeah, I do
Yeah.
love green. So yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's got a
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah. I love pink. But pink is just like, I actually just recently did a post about like color psychology behind pink. Pink just means it's so much more than just a pretty color. It's like, so it can mean so many different things. So I think that's why a lot of
Mm,
brands use it because it has so much more meaning than just like, oh, it's girly. Like the
mm,
psychology behind it is just like, it goes like way in detail of like the different
mm.
emotions that it conveys. So it's more than just a pretty color.
No, and just very quickly, without going way too off piece, like I don't know if you've found like a lot of brands also have can't feel the word, but it's like the ownership of certain colors, right? Like for example, Cadbury's, like the purple, there's certain
Yeah.
like distinctive colors that you associate the brands with, or the Coca-Cola red, where you know it's that, I think that's the thing where they actually bought the colors. Could be wrong. Let us know in the chat. But when you see a color, and you straight away know it's associated with that brand. The Facebook blue, you don't use Facebook anymore, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's it's
Yeah.
it's an interesting. I'm so old now, but yeah, there's all different types of
Yeah.
colors. But yeah,
These are
you've got a nice palette
fun.
here.
These are like for a vibrant, bold, and luxury color palette. So I
Yeah, I
love
like the
this.
first one. The top one's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Nice
pretty cool.
contrast
And
as
I'm actually
well.
kind of feeling this one a little bit too, but let's see what else. See,
Yeah.
like you don't see the squares. So you would just always make sure that like, the color that is used for like the little squares have enough contrast where it's a pop. People say pop, but I actually really like that word.
Do you know what? I picked up on that, and I was like, I'm not gonna mention that, but like I heard the
But
word pop
I
a
know
few
there's like so
times.
much taboo around it, but I'm like, I actually like it. And it actually
If it works for you,
like it
Whitney,
mean it
you do
means
it.
it means a lot. Like it does like it, like it does have to pop.
You do you, Whitney. I love that. That's why we do Adobe. Like you do you. If you want to make it
Oh,
pop, you make it pop, my
no,
dear.
you got to make it pop. Like I actually like that term because it's like it really does need to pop. Like, and you know what?
That
A lot
one's
of the
cool.
time, like clients don't know this terminology. So pop to them means contrast to us. So
Mm, that's very true, actually.
yeah.
I like that.
So leave them
Justifying it.
alone. They don't know. But I like the
Exactly.
word
Hmm.
pop. I like the word pop. I think it's cute.
So when you're in a good place, we'll definitely do a little poll. Then we're in a good place. So,
Yeah.
some nice colors
Yeah.
there.
Let me see. Yeah. Let us know like what color palette that you want to see.
We've got a few actually. We've got modern. Well, I mean, this is it's tricky because you never know what's going to pop out, right? Pop out. There's me saying
Yeah.
it now. We've got one comment on YouTube saying modern bold colors. So, like, again, that's like keywords. Let us know in the chat. Yeah, any keywords you can think of that you would like to see distinctive, and that probably could tell a bit of your mood as well. What vibe are you feeling today, my friends? Are you having dinner, watching the
Let's
stream? Are you
see.
having breakfast? I don't know. It depends
Oh,
on
I
the
put boho on
depends where you are
accident.
in the world.
Let's do modern bold. A modern and bold color palette. Let's see. Let me regenerate that. I put boho on accident. A modern and bold color palette. But yeah, yeah, I just really like Firefly because you can just really get so much inspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah, like these are fun. Like I actually kind of like this one a lot. I would probably
that's
make like
nice.
the background maybe a little bit more creamy and less yellowy. Just
Looks like a slight
again,
gradient on the maybe it's by
yeah,
eye, but
yeah,
hmm.
yeah. Let's see what the other colors look like. Yeah, these are nice. Oh, I actually kind of like that purple one. I wish I can go back.
Yeah, that was a nice yeah, I think that was a nice contrast, that one. There's like a
Yeah,
really
like this
distinctive.
one's really nice too. Like I actually really like the purple of the text a lot, actually. Like I really like that. Yeah,
Do you ever
these are,
find like it's one of those wings where you can, I guess, like looking for the right font, right? You can spend so long just like
I know,
going
spend
through like a kid in a candy
hours.
shop.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do that. I'm sure our folks in the
I feel
chat
like that's like
can
the
relate.
longest process for me, like during like branding, is
Mm,
finding the right font. Because I mean, like I feel like a font can either like make or break your brand. Like you have to like really consider everything, even just like the weight of the particular like font, like how round it is, how slender it
mm,
is. Like it really can make or break your brand because like everything means something different. Like I
so
feel like,
true.
yeah, if you have like something more round in like your font, like of course that's a look that gives off a little bit more like a welcoming and approachable tone. Yeah.
Mm,
And then if you have like a little bit more like edgier, like you know, like the edges of like the letters are a little bit more edgier. Like, of course, that's a little bit more of like a bolder brand. So it's just really, I could feel like you can spend hours. Like it takes me, I feel like finding like a font suite for or developing a font suite for a brand identity takes me the longest, I feel like.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a tricky one, can't
Yeah.
it?
Like this
It's
one's kind of fun. Yeah, these are cool.
we've got some good suggestions in the chat actually now. So I'm
Yeah.
loving the interaction, my friends. Keep them coming. We've got
Yeah.
Moendwa who said try punk color palette. There we
Oh,
go.
a
What
punk
mood are you
color.
in? I like that. I like
I
that.
love it.
We've got
Maybe
a
a
few more
punk
as
and
well.
grunge.
There we
Is that what
go.
let's see.
We've got a few more, but I'll
I'm
wait
kind of
until you do your.
nervous. A punk and
I told you, kid at
grunge.
Christmas, right? You don't know
Yeah.
what's gonna pop up. It's like it's gonna break the internet.
Okay,
There we
I
go.
don't know. I don't know how well this is though for a punk and grunge. They would have to let me
I'm
know.
surprised. I'm surprised. That
Yeah.
I like the
Kind
bottom
of
one, but
like
then I don't know.
I was thinking that it would be darker colors.
I was
I
thinking
don't
like
know.
pink and black. Because
Yeah,
pink and black
yeah,
sort
or
of, yeah,
something.
yeah. Like some punk rock bands.
Yeah. Like that
We've
was
got
kind of
Richard
cool.
who said, again, was throwing ideas at you, Richard. We've got Richard who said pastel retro.
Oh, pastel retro. Oh, this one's kind of cool. Yeah, these are fun. All right, let's see. A pastel retro color palette.
Maybe we could do this last one then, like a nice little poll, perhaps.
Yeah.
See where we're at. Cool.
These are kind of
Ooh.
fun. I actually kind of like
Yes,
this one a
Richard.
lot. Yeah,
You've
I
changed
like
the
this
game,
third
Richard. I
one a
like that.
lot. And then if you just say if
There we
you
go.
do like this one, you're able to like download it like here, and then
Nice.
it'll like be in like a SVG format. That way you're able to open it up in Illustrator. But yeah, I actually really like this one. This one's nice. Let's see what
Yeah.
no, I don't want to mess
Good
with that one,
shout.
so I'm gonna shuffle it. Yeah. But I did download it.
I'm
It's
gonna
really
shuffle it
pretty.
up. Mix it
Yeah,
up.
these are nice. But again, you know, y'all know I love the pastels and the soft colors. Yeah, these are really good. Ooh, that one was nice. Yeah, this one's really cute.
Once you shuffled, there's no going back there, is there? That's the
I
thing.
know,
It's
yeah. Unless I
it's
just
not for
don't know.
eternity.
Unless I don't know the trick for that yet.
So
Since
yeah.
it's still it's like fairly new, so I'm still learning it myself. But yeah, this is really
Oh, I like that
fun.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna try the candle box again and see.
Cool. So whilst you're doing that, so I'm doing a little reminder. So we're actually hitting that hour mark now. Time flies by ridiculously fast in Adobe Space. We all know that. So you've still got some time, my friends, to get those questions and comments in if you want to know about Whitney, what she's working on. And if you have just joined us, 'cause I can see a few folks on the lovely Behance chat has just joined us, such as Arshia, I hope I said that correctly. Welcome, welcome. And today we have the wonderful brand designer and graphic designer, Whitney Kerney, working on some awesome candle box and packaging design on Illustrator. And we did a bit of Firefly too. So get those comments in when you're in a good place.
Yeah. Was there another one in the poll? But another color palette they wanted to see?
Oh, I feel like
I
we
thought
went
there was another
through.
one.
Was another one? We had punk, pastel.
Oh, I don't think we did
No, I
this
think that
one.
was it.
A punk and pastel color
Oh
palette.
no, punk and pastel was separate. But actually, that being said, you can mix it up, and there we go. You
Yeah, let
can
me see.
like why take separate comments when you can just mix them
I
together and see
know,
what.
because a punk pastel, I don't know, I'm kind of feeling it. Okay, I can get behind this. Like, this is kind of cool.
Mhm.
I feel like it's given very much like a very punk brand. It's given like
Punk
it's reminding me
pastel.
of like a band t-shirt, like the type of
Oh
colors that
yeah,
they'll have like on a band t-shirt, like this one in particular.
I
Like
can dig it.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of like that one actually. Oh, that one was nice, the purple. Oh, this one's cute. I like this purple one a lot. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that blue one
I
was
had like
nice.
I had
Yeah,
like
like this
Tron
one was
vibes there,
really nice
definitely.
too. See,
Hmm.
like this is nice. It has a nice like enough contrast. Like the color of the like the text is like, you know, has enough contrast for
Hmm.
it to pop for it to
There we
stand
go.
out. Yeah.
I want to do a pop bingo for you, Whitney. So every time you mention pop, I'll just cross it off my list, and then by the end of the day, I want to see if I won.
That word. I know it's like such
No, you're
taboo
good for it. You're good for it.
industry,
We've
but
all got our design flares. I love it.
don't
So
let
stoked.
anyone bully you in social media to think that like you can't say pop because you could definitely say pop. You can do whatever you want to do. Just be authentic to
Exactly.
yourself. Like
And
Yeah.
actually, what you just mentioned that's a nice time to mention. If you are tuning in for the very first time, thinking this is awesome, I would love to be involved, or know someone who would like to be involved in the Behance chat tab, we've got a little part called guest recommendations. So you can click on there, fill the format, and hopefully get an
Oh,
opportunity
this
to
one's
come on as
nice.
well and make some designs pop. In the words of Whitney. So yeah, get
I
recommendation, my
like the word
friends.
pop. Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's
Yeah.
next? Where are we up to now?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like this. But yeah, and so like this, I just downloaded it from Adobe Firefly and then it just opens up as like a SVG. The only thing I would recommend is before you just say like, okay, yay, this is cool. Like I really like this. I want to send this to the print company. I would just like recommend that obviously this is like group, so I'm just gonna try to ungroup everything. But so yeah, I would just like recommend, looks like I ungrouped it too far, but um, I would just recommend saving it as like a working file PDF, because most print companies want it either as like an Illustrator file or a
Mm,
PDF file where it's like, you're able to still open it up in Illustrator,
mm.
instead of like saving it as a SVG. I mean, I know that you're still able to upload a SVG, but I think most print companies like it as like a PDF or an Illustrator file.
Mm.
Yeah. And then also good thing to note, when you are like just say like you design, you put your artwork in your box, like the die line, before you upload it to Firefly, I would recommend outlining all of your fonts, because I made the mistake of not doing that and I uploaded it to Firefly, everything was fine, but when I went to download the SVG and re-upload it, the fonts were weird. So just make
Mm.
sure that you outline the font. When you outline the font, it'll look exactly how you designed it, like so.
Nice. Nice
Yeah,
contrast there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I wonder. Let me see if I can put all of you side by side, and y'all can let me know which one y'all like the most.
Nice. There we
Yeah,
go. I
let's
feel
see.
like the poll is happening very shortly. I know
Yeah,
my friends have been waiting eagerly for this. So
let's
it's the
see.
highlight of your day.
I'm trying to
The
see like which
poll.
one
We
was
love a
like.
poll.
Oh, here we go. All right, let's see.
Remember, Whitney, no influence in the chat for option two. I'm just saying. Even though option one's awesome, but there we go. Hint, hint. It was all very political now. We'll see what we're working with.
Like these colors are like really pretty together. Like this would
Yeah,
be
they
a
actually
really,
work well.
really, really pretty
Mm.
like color palette for a brand identity.
It's
Let's
like
see. I
why
thought there
pick
was
individual
like,
ones, but you can
was
just
there
make them all
another one?
work,
Oh,
actually.
let me just do like the original one. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'll just select the one that's outlined. All right, here we go.
Mate, just for just
I
for like
forgot one.
simplicity,
Gotta
maybe
go back.
we do like numbers above them as well, so we know which is which.
Yeah, let
As
me
they
unlock this layer.
the classic when you forget it's locked. Yeah, I've had those moments many times
I
before.
know.
It's like it's not all
Okay.
here.
All right, that's good enough. Okay. Yeah. Okay,
Nice.
so let's see. Let's do, what am I doing?
We number them and
Um,
then yeah.
yeah. All right, so we got number one. Let's make this white so y'all can see it.
Nice.
We got two. If y'all don't pick the pink one, then we can't be friends. No,
Hey, no, remember
I'm
no
just playing.
conferring, no,
No, I'm
no
just
influence in the
playing. Y'all
crowd.
better like the original one, the original artwork.
I
No,
love
I'm
that.
just
I love
kidding.
that.
I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah. This
Nice.
is cute.
Perhaps maybe if you zoom in a bit on each one of them, so we can see
Yeah.
it in all in its entirety, in its beauty, one by one. So here you
All
go, my friends.
right.
We've got the options to work with.
All right. So we
So
got option one, this beautiful aqua. I feel like I'm on a game show. We got
you
this.
could have from the top shelf, exactly. You're not winning a car, my friend. My friend, my
Yeah.
friends. Not today,
All
but yeah.
right, you guys, we got this beautiful, vibrant aqua color,
There we
with a
go.
nice brown text. And
Cool.
then,
Option one. Yeah.
yeah. So then we got option two. We have this beautiful bubblegum pink, my favorite.
I'm loving you're selling the words now,
You
aren't you?
know, wink, wink. Bubblegum pink color
Oh
with
my
this
God,
nice
pink.
like maroon text color. I like it. I like how rich this like it's like a good I feel like if red and maroon had a baby, this is the color it would
There we
be.
go. If perfection and perfection had a baby, it would create option two, right?
Yeah.
Clearly.
I love it.
Okay.
And then we
Okay.
have this nice, still vibrant, but a little bit more muted than the first option. This nice little mint aqua color with a nice like muted brown. I really like this one. This one's actually very calming, which I really, really like. And it kind of goes hand in hand with like that coastal feel because you want to have like peace and like a calming feel when you go to the beach.
Of course.
Yeah.
Nice.
Kind
Well,
of
I
healing
will.
as well. Oh, and then option
Yeah,
four is the original one. So y'all better like this original one.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
what I'll do is I'll let the chat marinate for that in a bit, and then I'll come back to you when we've got the result. I'll keep you in suspense until they get back, but we'll give it a minute or two for folks to vote,
Yeah.
and then we'll pick out a winner shortly.
Perfect. Yeah, I like these. This color palette is actually very pretty.
It works
I'm
well as
actually,
a set now.
yeah, like I might bookmark this for a rainy day. This
We've
is
got
really pretty.
Richard who's commented just said, this is a tough decision. I'm gonna pick option one. Sorry, Whitney, I know you love pink with the with
It's okay. It's okay. I forgive
it's
you.
okay. It's okay. I'm not crying, you're crying. I love that.
Yeah.
It's okay. So yeah, we'll let you folks decide and then we'll get back on like a minute or two and then yeah. Should we jump into something else in the meantime
Yeah.
whilst that's marinating?
Yeah. Did y'all have any questions about anything like design wise? Yeah.
Well, whilst the folks are thinking of the questions, I mean, and because obviously I know we touched on it in our very first stream, but for anyone who potentially hasn't seen the very first stream, which was 2 years ago, to be fair, so we'll allow
Yeah.
you for
It's
that
been a
one.
little minute.
What's your background? I think you touched on it really briefly, but are you self-taught or did you go to university? Did you study? What's so folks
Yeah.
can know about a bit
So
about yourself?
actually, it's funny because I actually started off designing clothes. I was actually like a fashion designer before I was actually a brand designer. But of course, as many solopreneurs, they wear many hats, and I actually fell in love like the branding and marketing aspect of my job a lot more than actually designing clothes. So I kind of
Mm,
decided to pursue like graphic design. And for a while, I actually wanted to work for like a beauty brand. Like I didn't want to like have like my own like design studio or anything. I wanted to like work for Glossier. That was like actually the dream to work for like Glossier or for like a beauty brand. But a lot of at the time you needed like a degree for, graphic design. So I
mm,
actually ended up pursuing a degree strictly because like I wanted to work for like a beauty brand. So, but while I was in school, I like was, taking on branding projects, teaching myself because, like for the first 2 years of like graphic design school, you don't really learn much. You don't get into like the nitty gritty of designing.
mm.
So I kind of like taught myself pretty much everything that I know, with like YouTube and
Nice.
like Skillshare and then just obviously trial and error.
Mm,
But yeah, so but while I was in school, I was, taking on branding projects and I just, it just seemed, I don't know, I actually kind of fell in love with like the branding part of it and working with clients that I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I want to pursue working for like a brand. I think I just want to pursue like having my own creative studio. So
nice. And the
yeah, it
rest
kind
is
of blossomed
history.
from there. And then, yeah, and I was actually like in 2020, I was still actually like working, I had like still like a part-time job. And I was working at a school. I was like an aftercare teacher and then COVID hit. And so I
Mm,
had to like pursue WK Creative full time and I just never looked back since. Yeah, so it's just been
nice.
nonstop ever since. So I'm very grateful. God has been good. I'm just super excited. Yeah. And I'm just excited to continue to elevate my design studio. I'm hoping to bring on some more designers to the team. So I'm excited to see
Nice.
where, yeah, WK Creative goes. I have a lot of plans in store.
And it's been great. I mean, just from an outsider looking in, like I said, we've connected, 2 years ago, and now we've connected again. It's nice to sort of see the process. Hopefully, we won't leave it another 2 years until we connect again. Whitney, you've
Yeah.
been hiding from me. But again, it's been cool to sort of see, the progression of it all.
Yeah.
And on the topic of progression, we've got, I think, the results pretty much in. Do you want to know, Whitney?
Oh,
Should I keep you on stat? If you go back to the
oh my gosh.
I think you might
Y'all
be a
in this.
bit upset, really. So I mean, yeah, in final place, I mean, for like a TV talk show host now. Final place is number two, I'm afraid. Then it is option four. Then it's
Okay.
option one, and option three seems to be the winner.
Oh, yes.
There
I
you
actually
go.
really, really like this one. Yeah. Number three
We've
is
got to say
good.
that now. We've got no, it's
Yeah.
great. We
No, I do. I actually
and
like just like this color palette in general, though, like the whole shebang. Like it's really pretty together as like a whole. But
nice.
this
Well,
one's nice. This one's a little bit more just from like a coastal beachy perspective. Like I feel like this one's like
mm,
the best route because it kind of gives off like that healing feel that you get when you go to the beach or yeah, it's like
yeah.
the serenity of it. I love it.
I feel like maybe folks that have chose that is like I said, the mood that they're
Yeah.
in right now, maybe the vibe that
Yeah,
they're
it's
in.
easier
So
on the
there we go.
eyes. It's not as
Nice,
in your face. Yeah. And that's why when,
nice.
for Love Wit, I wanted to have like, more softer pinks and things like that, not anything like too bold because I want it to be kind of have like a healing feeling to it too. But I also still wanted it to be feminine. So of course I still needed it to be pink.
Nice, of course.
Yeah.
So we've got a great question here from Natalie who just said, so Whitney, where did you get the original packaging template? Does the print shop provide that?
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of the time, like again, you can either create your own die line, which could probably be a little time consuming, but 95% of the time the print company already has like custom templates that you can easily download for you to place the design in, especially if it's like a
Mm,
standard box, like if it's like a 4 by 4 by 4 like this one, I think is like 4 inch. Oh yeah, 4 inches by 4 inches by 4.75. So that's pretty standard. So for the most part, if it's like a standard size box, they already have like the templates pre-made that you could easily download. You could have it download as like an Illustrator file or a PDF file, which you could then open up in Illustrator. So yeah, they already have like them pre-made from the print company. I think this one, because I printed mine through Pack M. Yeah, so this box I got printed through Pack M. I had like a collaboration
mm,
with them. So yeah, super easy to work with. They have easy templates for you to download, place your design in, and then when you do upload it, they create it into
mm,
like a 3D model. So that way you can kind of see how it would look like 3D. And you can like rotate
nice.
it. It's really, really cool. But yeah, a lot of the print companies already have them pre-made. But if you are doing something
Mm,
custom, you could either, work with a print company for them to create that custom template based off of that custom design, or you could personally do it, but it might be a little time consuming to do it that way.
mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But I
guess it's
think this
about
is
like
back
depends
in.
on the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say it depends on perhaps on the time frame of both yourself and the client, or even when you're working. It's just the simplicity of it all.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, packaging is definitely not my realm, but I definitely appreciate those who work in that space. So I'm in
Yeah.
awe of what you do, Whitney, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I was gonna say too, no issue. They're really good at giving you instructions when you download the
Mm,
die line. Like, so in addition to the die line, they'll have like a separate artboard with like instructions. And it'll give you like a map of the box. So they'll be like, this is the back of the box, this is the side of the box, and which is actually comes in handy because sometimes you can like, even though like I've been doing packaging for years, sometimes I still get confused. And then next thing you know, you're printing something that's supposed to be on the back of the box on the front of the box because you got confused. So having
not
those
cool.
like, yeah, so having that those instructions are very, very helpful. And it
Mm,
just helps you not mess up either, which I appreciate. So, and then it's like this, they'll tell you like you need to put it upside down, like they give you like arrows and it kind of helps you. It's like a little key, like a guide on a little map
nice.
on how to place the design. So which I think would be very, very helpful for someone that's not experienced in this, especially if you're a
Mm,
client and you're just using your assets to create your branding.
mm,
Like having that guide, I think is very beneficial to have. I mean, I even appreciate it because sometimes because everything kind of starts looking the same and you start,
yeah.
yeah. Especially if you've been
To
staring at the
make life
screen for too
easy.
long. Yeah, it makes
Of
life
course,
so much
yeah.
easier. Yeah. But yeah, I think
I can
this one is
see.
from Pack M though. This die line, I think is Pack M, I'm pretty sure.
Nice. Well, I can see we've got our lovely moderator who just put some links into the chat to help you folks to do more research or me some resources in terms of packaging things to help you out. But then again, obviously, like we said, Whitney was throwing some gems at you all. So my friends, we're approaching that sort of final 10 minutes or so. So remember, get those questions in before it's too late. Anything to do with Whitney's design process background, and then what we'll do is we'll have maybe a nice little 5 minutes left of the process, and then maybe a little roundup to know how folks can find out about you, Whitney, as well at the end.
Yeah.
So
So I
yeah,
will
I'll give it
share
a
my website. So this is my website. I actually just launched a new website. So this is my new
yeah,
website. I love it.
looking
Yeah,
good.
so yeah, thanks. So you could find me on wkcreativestudio.com. I wanted to show you to go back to, I don't design only paint brands. Um,
We know, don't
yeah,
worry.
so just to kind of give you an idea, I just designed this one, the scented note. So this was like all like earth tones and was
It's
really,
nice
really
colors, yeah.
fun. Yeah, really, really
Very cool.
fun to create. Yeah, I loved it. And then we designed some like candle labels. I did do the candle box as well, but which I need to put in my portfolio, but you don't see it here.
That's always the
I
case, right? When you go for your side, think, oh,
know.
actually, I need to
I need to update that. There's actually a few
updating.
projects that I need to update. We're so bad
Further
at that. At least
updating.
I am. I'm so bad at updating my portfolio,
Well,
but
just
yeah,
on that, I mean, I
so
was going to
fun.
say, have you got because again, the beauty of what we do live is that we have all ranges of folks that tune in, right? From students to grads to professionals in the industry for years. Have you got any advice for maybe those who want to go and pursue a path similar to yourself, that you maybe can give them some advice of how they would start out?
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend learning obviously your basics of like Illustrator, Photoshop, any of the, Adobe platforms. I would recommend like YouTubing, like some like basic tips. Because to be honest, like you could really like there's so many ways. There's no like right or wrong way to do something in Illustrator. Like as long as you like can get the job done, I feel like you did it right. And again, don't let anyone bully you on social media saying like, oh, that's not the right
Yeah.
way to make a logo, or that's not the right way. Like, this is the proper way. Like, especially if you're like self-taught, you just kind of learn as you go. And then if it like works
Mm,
for you, like that's great.
mm,
Yeah, but I think just like learning like the basics, like maybe going on Skillshare or going onto YouTube. Obviously, Adobe has like amazing tutorials on how to do certain things.
mm,
Um, and then also like when you are like first starting out, you're going to have like projects that you're going to work with clients that are not your ideal, obviously ideal client at first because you're first starting out. But I would recommend like only using the client projects that you absolutely love and that you want to attract more of. Put those inside your portfolio, not the ones that aren't,
mm,
ideal to your, not the ones that you want to attract. You want to attract the ones that you want more of. So put those in your
mm.
portfolio, not the ones that you don't really want to work on more. um,
Yeah,
and
it's
also
very
do
easy,
like
right?
passion
So yeah.
projects too. Yeah, do like passion projects. Like make up a brand and do a branding of it. And that will help
Mm,
attract more of that particular. Just say if you really want to work for a jewelry brand and you haven't worked for one yet, make up your own brand and make up your own branding for it and upload that into your portfolio. You'll be surprised of how much more clientele within that industry you're going to attract because you uploaded that inside yeah, on your website. Or Pinterest is also a great resource for
yeah.
sharing your work. I feel like majority of my clients come from Pinterest. It's like half and half of Instagram. So yeah, just making sure that you're sharing your work on like more than just one platform. And obviously having a website is so beneficial because it's like social media can
Mm.
shut down tomorrow. So of course you want to have a website.
The world would implode if that happened. But no,
Yeah,
that's you're throwing
yeah,
some great gems at us. We've
yeah,
got Rich in the comment who just said
yeah,
excellent, good advice. Learn as you go along.
yeah,
Thanks, Whitney.
yeah,
So yeah, I think folks are taking on board everything you said. We've got a final question just before I want to make sure that we answer the questions before we shut up
yeah.
shop. So we've got a great question from Natalie who just said, do you hand draw or digitally create your patterns?
Yes, I do hand draw all of them. Um, yeah. So everything that you see, like,
Nice.
let me see if I can go back. Let me go to like Simply Blessed. So like all of these patterns I hand draw and make. Yeah,
Nice.
I hand drew all of these.
Are you using tablet or what's your kind of go-to? What's your gadgets?
I
I
use
suppose, or
Adobe
you just
Fresco for my
cool.
patterns. Yeah, so
Nice.
if you tuned into my first Adobe Live, we did a brand identity for a flower company, which I'll actually show
Yeah.
you that particular
I
project.
remember that. A blast from the past now, aren't we, Whitney?
Yeah, Remy in gold. So we designed this brand
Wow.
in my last live, and we did so I showed you, I basically walked you through on designing the logo, and then we did the patterns in Adobe Fresco. So yeah, I hand draw all of these beautiful elements. And then I just go through Adobe Illustrator and I kind of add like a texture to it. So whether it be like a canvas texture, sandstone, or whatever it may be, or I'll add like a texture because I know like you can buy like certain textures and you can like overlay it on your pattern. So it just really depends on the particular project. But I do, the base of it is handmade. I do hand draw those. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, this is what we designed in my last live.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit like a deja vu now
I
going
know,
back through
yeah.
through them as well, actually. So
Yeah.
that's actually a nice time to mention again, if you have just tuned in for the very first time watching the awesome Whitney, then you can obviously rewatch our stream from not long ago back. And then you can obviously see the process as well and the progress as well.
Yeah. And see,
Um
this is a client that like their main color was like a brown, but I did use some bold colors in there, like gray or like,
yeah.
the pink and the orange and the gray.
I love the
So
pinks coming out. That's my
yeah,
daughter's name. There we go,
know.
Willow. I like that.
Oh, that's your
Nice, a
daughter's
nice
name.
color.
How
It is.
fun.
There we go.
I
Just saw it
love
there. But
that.
it's nice to sort of see though that the collection of different types of projects that you do, because I mean that's the beauty
Yeah.
why we do Adobe Streams and Adobe Lives, that
Yeah.
you can get a feel for the different types of work that you do as well together.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
And so like beauty
yeah.
break is like there's like no pink in here at all. Like purples and
So
neutrals and I mean I guess this one would be kind of considered pink a little bit. It has a pink undertone.
nice.
But
And
yeah.
perhaps on a final question before we close. I mean, what's the kind of like kind of goal in terms of like moving forward and of your work and your brand, and how do you kind of see it kind of going into, because now obviously it's changed a lot since we had our very first stream until now.
Yeah.
Where would you like you mentioned obviously about a team perhaps going bigger, expanding your
Yeah.
team, or
Yeah. So I'm
yeah.
hoping to bring on some junior designers like later this year, as well as some contractors for some other services that I will be offering. That I'm not
Nice.
ready to expose just yet, but I will be offering some more additional
Sure.
services.
Top
So I'll
secret.
be, yeah, so I'll be bringing on some contractors for that as well. So yeah, I'm just hoping to kind of expand my team. Nothing too big because I still wanted to keep it very small and intimate. But yeah,
Hmm.
just expand my team and continue to be, well, yeah, just expand the agency and just offer more things. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I have no doubt we've got your website and Instagram and all the lovely good
Yeah.
stuff in the chat. So I feel like everyone's going to be popping in and following up as well. I can see your Instagram as well, so folks can obviously follow up on
Yeah.
Instagram, right? Yeah,
Yes,
slide into your
yes. Follow
DMs.
me on Instagram. And if I didn't answer your question correctly, please DM me. Goodness, I will be able to answer your question better
No,
when
you're
I'm not
awesome.
like put on the spot. I start
It's
like
a
drawing
skill, right?
blanks.
It's the multitask, the beauty of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
talking whilst designing. You did it awesome. You
yeah.
did it
I
awesome.
haven't
Don't worry.
mastered it yet. It's just I lose my train of thought very easily. And I
No,
ran
you're
out of
you're
my
in a, you're in a
focus gummies, so like yeah, I'm definitely like very squiggly today.
No, you're in a safe spot. And I can see again from the chat, it's been all positive energy. So I think that's a nice time to kind of wrap up now. I think we're actually at
Yeah,
that point now. So Whitney, it's been an absolute pleasure to host you again. And I hopefully we get a chance to do it again. Perhaps we do like a very, very quick wrap up of what roundup of what you've done from the very beginning. Maybe like a little
yeah.
roundup. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Minute.
So we, designed a very intentional, heart-led packaging experience for a self-love lifestyle shop. We designed this beautiful candle box. I showed you how to place your branding assets inside the die line, how to create this beautiful seamless pattern. And then we did a beautiful packaging tape, and kind of did the same little situation, showed you how to place the design inside the die line, some tips and tricks on printing scopes, and yeah, and then yeah,
Nice. The
this is
real
what it would look
thing.
like in real thing, in real
See it?
life.
It's happened. It's happened, my friends. It's not
Yes.
all talk. It's a real thing. I love
It
that.
happened
So, I
for
mean,
real.
on that note, we'll do another. That's basically it, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us on Adobe Live. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. Whitney, it's been awesome to host you. So
Yay.
stay tuned, my friends, because up next we're going to have a very cool Adobe Spotlight featuring creative director and graphic designer Alex Lazarus. Alex is a very cool designer. I can vouch for that. I promise you. So get ready to dive in to captivating journey of a designer, explore his creative process, and discover what inspires him for his remarkable work. Whitney, until next time, I look forward to hosting you hopefully again. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been so fun. Thank you.
No worries. And again, of course, a massive thank you to everyone on the Adobe Live and of course to everyone in the chat that's been popping off. So thank you and we'll see you for our next stream. Take care, everyone. Ciao.
Bye.